I'm sure there's a perfectly logical explanation for why you're staring at me without saying anything that doesn't involve you plotting to kill me, but, when you just stare at me like that, not blinking or saying anything, and barely even breathing, it does make me a bit anxious. So, are you just staring for fun? Are you zoning out? Or are you trying to work up the nerve to say something? Oh. I actually did not expect you to say that. You're trying to work up the nerve to say something to me? I never realized that I was much of an intimidating person. Or is it just that what you want to say is a bit difficult to say? A bit of both? Well, if it would help, we could go somewhere more private. Oh, right, I guess here is fine since everyone else has left by now, but still I wasn't sure if a less common area might make you feel a bit more comfortable. But if here is alright, that's fine. I guess whenever you're ready, you can say what you want to say. And before you start thinking about saying anything, I just want to let you know that you can tell me anything, and unless it's causing an issue to others, I won't say a word, okay? Alright. Now just take your time. I can stay here all night if you need me to. It's about who you are? I just want to start off by saying I don't like how this conversation is beginning, not because you've said anything wrong, but just because, that sounds like the start of a confession regarding perhaps a connection to Annie, and... Oh, it's not that? Alright, that puts my mind far more at ease than it should. Okay then. Alright, if you're not in connection to Annie in any way, alright, that is perfectly fine. That makes me feel so much better. Alright, so it's about who you are. Did you, give a fake name when you enlisted or something? Not exactly. What do you mean by that? You have a new name. Okay. What is it? Really? That's very different from... Oh, are you... Oh, okay. Well, that's a very nice name that you've chosen. What's with that look? Yes, that is my genuine first impression of it. Why? Oh, you expected me to be a bit more confused? Well, let's just say I've seen and experienced far more confusing things in my lifetime than someone coming out as trans. Although, I do have a quick question for you, and I'm sure this was going to be the next thing you told me, but, what are your pronouns now? Okay. So I've got your new name and your pronouns, and, have you told anyone else about this? No. Alright then, I'm guessing you want me to be discreet for now? Alright, of course, I can do that. If I may ask, why tell me first? You were a bit nervous to tell anyone else because you weren't sure they were going to react as well. Well, I'm glad that you felt comfortable coming to me, but, I do have to wonder, why not go to Krista first? After all, she is literally the goddess of the 104th. I feel like she'd be a bit more approachable. Not that I'm complaining, of course. I am thrilled that you're comfortable enough around me to tell me about this, but, she does seem like the less intimidating person of the two of us. Oh, right. You weren't sure if Ymir would try to kick your ass after because you were alone with her Krista. Well, I suppose that is fair. In that case, are you planning on telling anyone else anytime soon? That's why you wanted to talk to me about this. Oh, okay, well, I don't know what your level of comfort is with your identity. I don't know if you're absolutely certain about it, and if you're ready to tell everyone else. Are you? Okay. You just need me to help gauge some of their reactions beforehand. Well, okay. Let's see. I know that Aaron is probably going to be very confused at first. Mikasa and I tried to explain gender identity and sexuality to him, but, he didn't exactly understand it. Partially because, and I can't believe I am saying this, he and Mikasa still believe that, babies come from storks. Yeah, apparently that's the explanation their mother gave them, because they were extremely young when they asked about it, I guess. And, that lesson of sorts kind of devolved into a different conversation as a result. Yes, I'm fairly certain I scarred Aaron for life with that conversation. But anyway, he is still very supportive. He's probably going to ask a bunch of questions, and they might get a bit, not exactly intrusive, but he might cross a few unspoken boundaries just because he doesn't understand. He isn't trying to be rude, he just genuinely doesn't understand the concept of being transgender, so that's probably going to be a bit of an issue when you tell him, but other than that, he's fully supportive, I promise. Mikasa? Mikasa would kick anyone's ass if they thought that you were invalid, whether for your gender identity or your sexuality or anything else that defines you. She would literally kill someone if they tried to insult you for who you are. No, I'm not making that up at all. She threatened to, once. Yes, it was right after the fall of Shiganshina and Walmaria. We were all forced to survive on our own, and some people were picking on us because we were orphans, and we didn't have anywhere else to go. We didn't have other family in other parts of the walls, and we were completely on our own. She literally broke a piece of glass and threatened to cut out their throats. If that's what she does to people who are just making fun of your living situation, I bet you can't even imagine how she would react to someone making fun of your gender identity. Yeah, even Levi would turn a blind eye to her actions, honestly. I thought you might have that reaction. Levi, despite his cold exterior, he's very supportive of things like that. How do I know? Well, Hanji. Exactly. Hanji uses they-them pronouns mostly, and Levi is completely respectful of it, as is Erwin, and if I recall, Moblet is as well. Yes, and I think all of Levi's squad is too. Well, Oluo still makes fun of Hanji for other things, but their gender identity and pronouns are not any of those things. The rest of the 104th? Well, Ymir is always a bit, she is a bit of an ass, you're right about that, but What I mean is, she might be a bit rude at first, but she isn't trying to be. I know that she would fully support your identity, and she wouldn't question it. Well, she might ask about your name and your pronouns, but standard questions like that, she wouldn't dig too deep. She probably wouldn't even care. She would just go on using your new name and pronouns and never mention it again. And Reiner and Bertolt? I'm not sure, really, but Reiner seems like he might be a bit confused as well, just like Aaron, but I'm sure he'd be accepting. And Bertolt has always been very friendly. I'm sure he'd be accepting, too. Krista? You realize that she's in love with Ymir as well, right? There's no way in hell she wouldn't be supportive. I know. It still worries you, but come on. She was nice to Ymir after Ymir teased her and mocked her at first. Do you really think that she would be mean to you just because of how you identify? I didn't think so. As for Sasha and Connie, yeah, I think they're going to slip up a lot. They're probably gonna smack each other in the face anytime they slip up or misgender you, and if they do, it will be by accident, I promise. I am pretty close to them, and they definitely don't understand stuff like that, but I have a feeling they'd be supportive. How can I be sure? You've seen them messing around with everyone, right? What does that prove? The only time they don't mess around with people is when something is wrong or when a situation is serious. They're going to take this seriously, whether or not they understand it. They're friends with everyone here. They don't want to do anything to hurt us or make us feel uncomfortable. And I have a feeling that even if they don't understand it, which honestly they probably don't, they're going to be supportive, and they're going to do their best to make you feel comfortable. Yes, I have a feeling that they would even try to come up with ways to make you feel more like the gender you identify as. Yes, I wouldn't be surprised if they would do something like that. That definitely seems like them. Yes, I feel like that definitely sounds like them. And Jean? I feel like he'd be supportive either way, but he's definitely going to try and one-up Aaron by being more supportive and understanding than he is. Yeah, it's gonna become a bit of a competition between them. I'm calling it right now. I suppose it will be a bit entertaining, and it's definitely better than not being supported, right? Yeah, but, I think that he'll support you and respect you. I mean, I don't understand why he wouldn't. You two seem to get along pretty well, and he's always respected you before. If anyone doesn't respect you or accept who you are now, Mikasa will deal with them. So will Ymir, I think. Yeah, I really think so. I know that Ymir tends to not care about anyone except Krista, but I have a feeling that when it comes to stuff like this, she'll take others' feelings very seriously. If someone makes fun of you or refuses to accept who you are now, there's no way she's letting them live, especially with Mikasa helping her out. Oh yes, I believe they would finally get to talking and working together, and they would most likely plot someone's downfall. What's that? When do I think you should do it? Well, whenever you're comfortable would be best, but if you want, I am meeting with Aaron and Mikasa later. I could try and start up a conversation about that, and you could bring up how you identify now. Yes, I am absolutely sure that it will go well. Unless, of course, Aaron starts asking a million questions and Mikasa scolds him for it, but that's the worst that's going to happen. I promise. Yes, I mean it. I've known these two most of my life. Hell, I grew up with them for a long time. I know that with how close you are to all of them, to all of us, you're going to have the support that you deserve. Even if some of the people here don't understand, they do understand your happiness. And if changing the way they address you and view you is going to make you happy, I know that they'll be more than willing to do it.